How you doing, everyone? Good to see you. Oh, yep, I am muted. Thank you. Everyone, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. £1,000? I'm not monetized. You can send it to my PayPal and stuff like that. 100? I'll take 100 pounds. I'll take 100 pounds. You gotta PayPal me, Venmo. It's in my description, in my channel description. Thank you for subbing. Oh, thank you, Christina. How you doing, Jackie? I want to see the results of the polls. Who's all good? Who's gonna be the New York City mayor? I'm nervous. Thank you.
act and how they've, they always say, well, you don't like us changing the electorate. Well, you better just change your tune. Well, why don't you change your tune and try to appeal
Don't
to
forget,
a bunch
guys,
of
cast your
white people
votes
in
if you
Nebraska
can.
then for change? Well, they can't do that, which is particularly why they keep importing people for votes. And even then, third generation Hispanics are turning against them. Chauncey Hart for 5 says, honestly don't know why people are blackpilling their solid blue states. It's saying nothing about the midterms. I know it's not saying a ridiculous amount. These are blue states, but the circumstances matter. It's not a
And we don't talk about politics here, but I just let the people know just to vote.
Do matter. PK says in Loudon Sears match.
Whichever
Trump
party
in the white areas,
you're part of, just go vote.
Well, because
it helps.
And this is the problem.
It makes your voice
heard. If you thought picking Sears would get you black voters or even turnout among black Trump voters, you're wrong. And I don't know Winsome Sears. I've never met Winsome Sears. I'm sure she's a nice person, but
you want to make your voices heard.
There was a lot of her campaign initially that was dictated
you vote
identity
today.
Politics.
Because then you can't complain.
It came off because that's just how it was.
Hi, Sean B.
Saying, elect me the first black female governor of Virginia. And it's just like, you understand the people that care about that are on the left. There's a reason why they celebrate Obama. They say nothing about Clarence Thomas. They hate Clarence Thomas. They call him a white supremacist. You're not going to... and even so, it's like, even if you want to say, oh, well, maybe this will turn
I just want to know the
low-prop
results.
black
I don't want to hear this jumbo. You know what I mean? Like, tell me who won and that's it. I don't want to hear no interviews. Thank you, Sean B. But I got it because people could join Discord as well. But you keep yours as well. When she's not here, when I don't have one comment, thank you the best, Sean B. How you doing, Izzy? Oh, how you doing, Cakes? How you doing, babe? Baby.
I did not picture myself surviving through that day.
He was tracking her.
He was everywhere.
I heard the squeak of a floorboard. I've been kidnapped. This becomes a fight for my life.
And we're all holding our breath.
My mind is the only thing that's going to get me out of here. This is a horror film.
Stalking Samantha. 13 years of terror. Only on Hulu.
We're trying to see who's going to be our next mayor, so...
And welcome back to our election night coverage. I'm Mary Bruce here with our experts. And Rick Klein, our Washington bureau chief, talk us through what we are seeing in New York right now, because, of course, all eyes are on what appears to be a pretty remarkable night for Zohran Mamdani.
Yeah, and we saw it through the early vote, and we saw it in the explosion of voting today, setting records for turnout and running up huge numbers across all of the major boroughs, with the exception of Staten Island, the Republican enclave. These were the results from last time. This was a blowout. This was, though, a three-way race this time around, and that has to change the way you look at this. We saw in the early votes, those numbers we were saying all along, they're probably Mamdani voters. Turns out that was correct. Mamdani in just commanding position with the results that have rolled in so far.
And there's been so much question, not just, whether he would pull out a victory, but the margin by which he might win and what that would signal.
Yeah, and look, we don't know the exact numbers now, but it's possible that he's flirting with 50%, an outright majority. Whether or not he gets there, it is going to be a resounding victory. Again, looking at the numbers from last time around, it is a similar kind of map for him tonight. And the darker areas of Manhattan into the Bronx, really across the board, we're seeing just a resounding, what appears to be a likely victory.
And it now seems we can say that is not just, it appears to be a victory, but we do have a projection to make now, Rick.
That's right. Zoran Mamdani will be the next mayor of New York City. It is a remarkable comeback, really coming from just about nowhere in this race. Down in the low single digits, all the way through against some of the biggest names that exist in New York City politics. Zoran Mamdani, just 34 years old, will become the next mayor of New York. About 100,000 vote lead over the former governor and just a member of New York Democratic royalty in Andrew Cuomo.
It is a remarkable upset, one that a year ago would have seemed truly impossible. Just 34 years old, Democratic socialist, now the mayor of the nation's largest city. As you mentioned, it is truly remarkable when you also consider who he was up against here. Let's go to our Aaron Katersky, who is at the Zoran Mamdani headquarters. Aaron, I can imagine it is quite a scene there.
Experience is now the new face of New York, and a religious barrier has fallen in the city. A quarter century after the 9/11 attacks, New York has elected its first Muslim American mayor in Zoran Mamdani. He has ridden a campaign pledging to make New York more affordable to a projected victory over an establishment candidate in Andrew Cuomo, whose family has loomed large over New York politics for decades. That appears to be over now, as Zoran Mamdani is projected to be the next mayor, the 111th mayor of New York.
Wow.
Mary?
It is just a remarkable, improbable run that has now ended in this resounding victory. Aaron, thank you. And Avery, talk us through the breakdown of some of the vote here, because the turnout really astounding.
Right, and age has really been a big factor in this race. There's a generational divide that is on display within the Democratic These two numbers in the middle kind of stand out to me. And part of it is because of some of Mamdani's proposals, particularly guaranteeing free childcare was one of the tenets of his campaign. That was something that was particularly interesting. If you want to look toward the issue of Israel, let's go and look at the age of some of the Cuomo voters. On the other hand, we know that, and you can look and see here, as those voters got older, those voters got a larger share of Cuomo's votes. So 41% of those voters who were 65 plus started to vote for Cuomo, and it went down there. And then you look at their position on Israel, and Israel being a factor in this race. And this could cut both ways, because there were folks for whom allegiance and sort of an idea and being a part of the issue on Israel and being a favor of Israel was a big deal. There's also people for whom being in favor of Gaza was a big deal. 67% say it was a factor in their vote, and 29% that say it was not a factor in their vote, Mary.
It's really remarkable. When you go back and look at the age especially, you have to wonder about the way in which Mamdani ran this campaign, really leaning into social media. It's what got him on the map. It's what fueled so many. And when you look at how many young voters came out to him, it's hard to imagine, or not to imagine, that many of them may have been getting acquainted to this campaign on their phones, and so many lessons for Democrats and the Democratic Party going forward about maybe how to reach out to some critical voters ahead of
social media fluency, but also non-traditional methods and venues of campaigning. I mean, over the weekend, Mamdani was at nightclubs all over Brooklyn, right? And talking to people, not just there to party, but asking for their vote and asking for those folks to come out and canvass.
Yeah, and Aaron Katersky, you've been out talking with some of these voters as well, and the sort of non-traditional way that Mamdani was reaching out.
It's really remarkable, and it really reflects, I think, the changing demographics of the city. Zoran Mamdani appealed to people who haven't lived in New York very long, 10 years or younger, where native New Yorkers went for Andrew Cuomo, but not by a very wide margin. Zoran Mamdani also appealed by a vast majority to renters, whereas property owners sided with Andrew Cuomo. And I'm really struck by by the religious divide in such a parochial city. Zoran Mamdani, according to our exit polls, losing voters who identify as Jewish, voters who identify as Catholic, and still is now the projected winner to be the next mayor of New York City. Mary, that would have been unheard of in recent years. And the turnout here, the most since 1969. Zoran Mamdani's campaign struck a chord, particularly with younger voters who came out in overwhelming numbers for him, now paying off the way Mamdani had a savvy social media focused campaign that targeted people where they live in their particular neighborhoods. He was able to register more first-time voters than any other candidate in recent memory, and that significant ground operation paid off.
It certainly did pay off, Aaron, and of course, so many of those younger voters that he was able to reach now, propelling him to this, what was not that long ago, a really improbable victory. Aaron, thank you. Let's bring in Danielle Alvarez, former Trump campaign advisor. The president has really gone after Mamdani. He's made him a target, especially on social media. He has said that if Mamdani won, that he would slash federal funding to this city, said that the city had zero chance of succeeding if Mamdani were to be in charge. What do you make of this victory tonight?
I think that what you're going to see is Zoran Mamdani and his socialist policies going to be front and center in these midterm elections. One of the things that Republicans have been talking about is that the Democrat Party is leaderless, and what you are seeing is the rise of Zoran Mamdani. Hakeem Jeffries and others have endorsed, of course, kind of giving Mamdani a sideways hug because they are all fighting again for that leadership slot. We have just seen, again, that rise of Zoran Mamdani in New York City and among the Democrat Party. And so what you will find is Republicans using that conversation as we head into the midterms regarding how far left the Democrat Party has moved.
And, you know, you mentioned that Mamdani now, in your opinion, is going to be sort of front and center as a leader in the Democratic Party. Do you think that we are going to continue to see President Trump and Republicans trying to elevate him as we head into the midterms?
When is the midterm elections?
I do. I think that he has done a great job of elevating himself. I think one of the things that we've seen in the 9 months since President Trump was elected is a leaderless Democrat Party. We have seen shouting matches on the Senate floor with Senator Cory Booker. You have seen CNN town halls with AOC and Bernie Sanders. You have seen Gavin Newsom upping his social media antics. But what we are seeing tonight with Zoran Mamdani is something that the Democrats probably didn't want. I venture to guess that they did not anticipate that Zoran Mamdani would rise the way that he did. And you will see Democrats message and make him a centerpiece for the upcoming midterm elections.
He's wrong, but he's the president of the United States, so he can do whatever he wants.
Let's go back to Aaron Katersky there at Mamdani headquarters.
Mary, I'm joined now by New York Attorney General Letitia James. General, you were one of Zoran Mamdani's.
He'll try to cut it, but they're not gonna allow him to do it. You're right.
Why did you?
New York will sue him, and federal judge will block it.
And I endorsed him because I saw on the streets of New York City, and particularly in the borough of Brooklyn where I live, countless number of individuals who have been left out of the body politic, who were inspired by his message, individuals who never received a knock on their door from a Democrat or a Republican, but individuals who struggled each and every day with child care, with housing costs, with the cost of food. And those individuals came out in record number. The people who probably were in an Uber today, who served you coffee today, whose names you do not know, but their voices were heard loudly today.
What about some of your colleagues in the Democratic Party? Are they going to get on board with Mamdani, or are they going to be like House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, who didn't really answer whether he's the new face of the party?
At the end of the day, I think more and more individuals, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, will work with Zoran Mamdani. Why? Because he is singularly focused on the issue of affordability in the city of New York and beyond. And I think that message needs to resonate. Let's remember that this is the same message that President Trump ran on. And unfortunately, he hasn't delivered. But I have confidence that Zoran Mandani is going to deliver.
President Trump did weigh in, urging New Yorkers to vote for Andrew Cuomo. You know a thing or two about taking on President Trump. Is Mamdani going to be able to do it if Trump follows through on some of his threats to withhold federal funds from New York?
I don't subscribe to the politics of fear and division. And two, as the Attorney General of the state of New York, I've
He
joined
does.
the
He gives me the
Attorney
creeps.
General dealing with these unlawful, unconstitutional executive orders. And we have been winning. In fact, we're almost at 50 executive orders that we have beat back. And at the end of the day, I will work with Zoran Mandani and his corporation counsel, and we will work together to protect the interest of New Yorkers. So these threats mean nothing to New Yorkers. In fact, New Yorkers, New Yorkers didn't respond. In fact, they came out in record numbers, and they elected Zoran Mandani as the next mayor of the city of New York.
Hopefully he does
I
something.
appreciate you.
New York Attorney General Letitia James on victory night for Zoran Mamdani. Mary?
All right, Aaron, I'll take it back here. And while we're waiting to still hear from President Trump to weigh in on the election results, so far we have just heard a post on X from President Obama who said, congratulations to all the Democratic candidates who won tonight. It's a reminder that when we come together around strong, forward-looking leaders who care about the issues that matter, we can win. We've still got plenty of work to do, but the future
hopefully the government
looks
gets
a little bit
reopened.
brighter. Rick Klein, I want to go back over to you. Give us a breakdown of the boroughs. It looks like Brooklyn really voted overwhelmingly for Mamdani.
Yeah, that looks like it's going to end up being his strongest numbers. Right now, in what we're seeing is a Brooklyn Mamdani by 22 points. Just an astounding margin. Manhattan plus 10 points for Mamdani. Up in the Bronx, plus 11 points for Mamdani. In Queens, plus 5 points. Staten Island, that's where a lot more of the Republicans live. That is a minus 33. That is Cuomo's stronghold. If Staten Island was the whole city, Cuomo wins in a landslide. It isn't. Everywhere else, it is Zoran Mamdani. And it's just so interesting, too, Lindsay, because he went around so many of these boroughs and campaigned and did videos and just showed up almost
Don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody.
Campaign, taking a perch from the state assembly to just broaden his
that
appeal,
subscribe button as well.
Multicultural, multiracial, and multi-generational. And he is going to be a big star in this Democratic Party, whether the Democrats want him to be or not. And it's in part because he was able to stitch together this victory in these unlikely circumstances, up against these huge names, knowing that you're running against people with enormous followings, like someone named Cuomo, like the incumbent Mayor Adams, like Curtis Sliwa. Mamdani still looks like he could actually get an outright majority of New Yorkers or something close to it tonight, Lindsay.
And Rick, I just want to bring this back over to John, because we've been talking about this really magnetic attraction that Mamdani has been able to attract, not just with regard to not just young voters. And when we're looking at Queens in particular, Andrew Cuomo always talks about himself being a Queens boy. He wasn't even able to win his own borough tonight. Staten Island, I think that was pretty much expected, right? I mean, that's pretty much a Republican
part of New York City, going back to Guy Molinari, used to be the borough president there. But look, Brooklyn, 22%.
I think
we were
Sprite
talking
is
about,
the best. I love
Chuck
Sprite.
Schumer, and I slandered the great borough of Queens by saying that, Chuck Schumer is a proud Brooklynite. And he wouldn't even say if he voted for Zoran Mamdani. He didn't endorse him, and wouldn't even say how he voted. And now his backyard, the place where he got his political start, the place that he grew up, voted for Mamdani by 22%. Astounding. And again, I have to come back to not just what seems to be the margin of victory, with over, I think we're at 80-some% of the vote counted, and he's over 50%. We'll see if he holds on to that. But that's bigger than expected, bigger than most of the most recent polls said. But it's the overall turnout. 2 million plus New Yorkers voting in a mayoral election. We haven't seen that since 1969. And, you think about the percentage.
We went to
Mayor
the
Adams
moon
won
in
1969 of the vote.
In
1978
and the
and
year
already
after.
now, Mamdani has significantly more votes than Adams won at 50%, because so many more people voted.
So much enthusiasm. John, we'll come back more on this exciting election
Went
night.
to the
Stay with
moon
us.
in 1969. Yeah, I live in the Bronx now, but I usually I'm not from the Bronx originally. I'm from Manhattan, but I live in the Bronx now. Yeah. Yeah, I heard it. I heard that.
Was the doctor, the loving husband, the incredible stepfather. And then there's this monster. There was a bombshell. Someone found a hidden camera in the bathroom. 3,000 videos, 1,400 photos. This betrayal was terrifying.
He wanted to kill my son. Once I tell the police what I have to say, he'll never get out.
Betrayal under his eye. Only on Hulu.
All across America.
Good morning. Hello.
Wherever we are.
It's good to be home.
It feels like home.
Good morning. How are you?
At the start of the day, letting us into your home. Putting the good in your morning.
Man, it's good to be home.
GMA. It's an invitation to come together. Brighten your morning.
George, how are you?
I'm eating
The day ahead.
ham and cheese.
Now you can listen to a podcast version of World News Tonight, available free wherever you listen.
A deadly mystery.
There was speculation that he got eaten by an alligator.
Forbidden love. It involved decadent sexual behavior. And then, this is where the good stuff starts. Mr. and Mrs. Murder. Only on Hulu.
Get this, people. Now we're streaming every weekend, right to you.
With an all-new show, an all-new view, special for the weekends. Now you can catch The View 7 days a week.
I wonder if you can handle it. It's The Weekend View.
The Weekend View.
It's The Weekend View. Streaming on ABC News Live, wherever you stream. Take a little time to enjoy The Weekend View.
No, I didn't get my stamps yet. Nope.
Now streaming Saturdays and Sundays on ABC News Live, wherever you stream.
Hey, help, Lacey. She's on the floor with blood everywhere. Please hurry. There's a knife sticking out of her heart. Oh, no.
Philadelphia medical examiner initially ruled Greenberg's death a homicide before switching it to suicide.
How was this ruled a suicide? It just does not add
I hope I get him soon.
Everyone realized how strange and twisted this case was.
If you want to get away with a homicide, have it declared a suicide.
Death in apartment 603. What happened to Ellen Greenberg? Only on Hulu.
Reporting from the Washington, D.C. jail as January 6th prisoners are being released. I'm Jay O'Brien. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Talk to you later, baby.
How you doing, Kate? Squeeze?
Bye.
Feeling better?
Official word on the whereabouts of Army Lieutenant Holly Weimer.
Was she a victim of a serial killer? 2020, Friday night on ABC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. ABC News has now projected 3 major wins for Democrats, including a projected win for Zohran Mamdani as mayor of New York City. We are still waiting for Mikey Sherrill to speak at any moment. ABC News has projected her as the winner of the battle to become the next governor of New Jersey. We've been talking, you can see the enthusiasm even at our own desk when we're talking about the New York City mayoral race. We talked earlier about that 50% threshold. Mamdani was able to do it. What do you make of that?
It's a significant win because, first of all, he's doing better than he was expected to win, but he's beating expectations, winning with 50% in a 3-person field. And, you know, I think now there's going to be a lot of attention of what does he do. And he's got a bit more of a mandate. He can go to Albany. He can make the case
you're not going to be home for a while. That sucks.
To approve. But let's remember what his agenda was, affordability. And there were key pillars of this. One, free buses for everybody in New York, universal free child care, the opening up of city-owned grocery stores to cut into the profits of private grocery stores, a $30 minimum wage by 2030, a $30 minimum wage, and freezing rent in all rent-stabilized units. These are big things that'll be very hard to do, and at least some on that list very expensive, which means he's also going to need to significantly raise taxes on the wealthy and on corporations.
$30 an hour minimum wage. You know how much shit it's gonna cost?
Survive as a magnet of world commerce with policies like that.
All right, John, we'll come back to this race in a moment, but now we do hear that Mikey Sherrill is at the podium there in New Jersey. Let's listen in.
And people around the country have heard you.
If I was in Australia, I would have came to visit you.
I hear you too.
In the hospital.
This was a tough fight, and this is a tough state. But I know you, New Jersey, and I love you. I've fought for you. I've spoken with thousands of you over this last year. I know your struggles. I know your hopes. I know your dreams. So serving you is worth any tough fight I have to take on, and I am incredibly honored to be your next governor.
Oh, you got a laptop, Oscar.
When I was 18, I raised my hand and I swore to defend the Constitution. And that moment defines me. It taught me that leadership means carrying the weight of other people's hopes, standing firm when it's easier to bend, and always putting the common good above personal gain. And I know how hard it can be to serve in these times. And I just got a call from Jack Chittarelli, and I want to recognize him for stepping up. And all of you know, I love our history.
Acid reflux.
And our state motto has always stuck with me.
Yeah.
In
Trust me, I need to go to the hospital soon.
New Jersey was one of the first
so they can do it.
To choose a motto. Anybody? Liberty and prosperity.
I'm going this weekend. Or on Monday.
I'm going to get some more civics education going. We'll get that known by all. But it was a demand for freedom from oppression and a commitment to creating better opportunity and a better future. That idea has defined us for almost 250 years. We fought for liberty at the crossroads of the American
If I go and I tell them my stomach hurts and I'm bleeding, they'll they do it.
We offered prosperity as we built the nation during
These
the
are
Industrial
the
Revolution.
vitamins I take so I don't get more sick.
Of scientific discovery, inventing everything from the light bulb to the laser. Liberty and prosperity. I've seen the genius in that model over the last year because both
There's
are essential in our democracy.
Two of them is one
And
serving.
as the president is backing away from this ideal, cutting SNAP, ripping away
So if
healthcare,
anybody
terminating
wants to
gateway,
donate so I can get more vitamins
we here in New
and
Jersey are bound
minerals,
to fight
that'll
for
be
a different
appreciated.
future for our
And
children.
this one is iron because I bleed, so I need iron. 18 milligrams.
How clearly important liberty is. We know that no one
Also,
in our great state is safe when
two
our
of them
neighbors
is
are targeted,
one
ignoring the law
serving.
and the Constitution.
Then I want to have my nails grows, because my nails don't grow. I barely have nails, as you see. I
If the
take
government
zinc,
makes it impossible for you to feed your
2
family,
gummies as well.
to get a good education or to get a good job. So in this country, that shouldn't be too much to ask. But right now, all of it seems at risk.
I think I
Governors
paid
have never
$30 for
mattered
all
more.
3. Well, Emily,
And in this state, I am determined to build prosperity for all of our citizens. And I've heard from thousands of you about
And there you have Mikey Sherrill, now the next governor of New Jersey. She says that she is focused on liberty and prosperity. Joining us now, Bill Ritter.
And I'm the next president of the United States.
Here in New York
Hi,
City.
partner.
You want to start with New Jersey or New York? I mean, there's so much to.
Well, we're just looking at New Jersey,
Yes.
so let's talk about this first. I was one of the people at the debate that I moderated.
Yes.
And you know, she did better than normal. He's a better speaker. They were tough on each other. It was kind of, this was a nasty thing between both of them. I thought it'd be a little closer. I was wondering what you guys think about this, because I think we're all we're in the same situation here. This is about Mr. Trump. And so what did Jack do here that said, well, wait a minute, do I want to have Trump in this, or do I not want to? Don't forget, 8 years ago, he said Mr. Trump should not be a president.
Distanced himself.
Oh, totally. And so he was always in this confused position. You know, he would have liked not to do it, but he had to do it. So then
Trump shouldn't be president, but he is what he is. So.
Formula, I think, and he lost this on this. And Trump is going to make a big battle out of New Jersey. And when we talk about it, most importantly to New York, that's going to be right in this city.
And it's really interesting, as you would know, both of you in Washington, D.C., Trump has been eerily quiet. We haven't heard any Truth Social posts for the last 4 hours plus at this point. But we do want to go back to the mayoral race. This is just last month in October. You had more than 1,000 rabbis actually sign a letter saying that they were concerned that Mamdani, if he wins in New York, would be a threat to the Jewish residents here. And yet we see this overwhelming victory tonight.
Many of those young people and some of the older people are Jewish as well. 30%, they're saying at least 30% of Jews. We'll see that.
Which Donald Trump said anyone who votes for Mamdani
is stupid.
who's Jewish is stupid.
He said that today. Was kind of surprising, I think, to me. You guys know him better. You know better than most people about what he does.
He sometimes says things that are a little over the top.
Sometimes he's been known to say that. But more importantly, or not equally importantly, what he's done so far is cut money, billions of dollars of money from New York and New Jersey already. He's already thinking now that if he got elected, the young man who's now going to be the 111th guy to run the biggest city in the country, he would take the money away, start to take it away. So what's going to happen now? For New York, this is a big deal. The people who ran against him, some of them, are they going to help him when they go try to fix this? Because Mr. Trump's going to go on after them and after this guy. 34 years old. He said things, by the way, that said, well, you know, I apologize for some of the things I said. He spent a lot of time apologizing for what he did when he was 24. You remember when you were 24? Would you have changed it when you were 34? Maybe most of us would have. So I think he's got a lot to do. Can these people
All right, I'll be ready.
who fought him in this join him?
Now
And
rally
that's what-
around him. I mean, because he's going to need all the help he can get. Look, I mean, the city's got massive challenges. He's made a series of promises that are going to be, you know, really hard. Some of them impossible to fulfill.
Can he do it?
So the question
No,
is,
he
can he
can't do
improve
it.
life for people in New York who feel that life is not affordable in this city?
And what do you say about that? What do you say to the young people who are saying, because that's really the bigger issue here, that people say, I can't afford to be here. This is something very interesting. The current people who are running this city say that by the time of 2030, 4 years from now, there are going to be people above the age of 60, be 25% of the population. Half of them will not be able to afford to live in New York. What do you do with that? This is the city. When's the last time we heard him say, you know, start spreading the news? This is not what New York's about right now. And this is a big deal.
And Mary, just as we said it, of course, Trump has
Trump was listening. We were worried if his phone was broken, but the president has responded here, and he is saying that there are two reasons that Republicans lost elections tonight. He says Trump wasn't on the ballot and the shutdown. Now, the president is citing that to pollsters, but the reality is that President Trump's policies were definitely on the ballot.
But wait a minute, what is he talking about? The shutdown. He's told us the Democrats are to blame for the
well,
shutdown.
I was getting there, John.
Yeah.
It is
I'm confused.
Well, exactly, and the point is, voters sent a clear message about President Trump's policies. Certainly, all the Democrats that won tonight were running against the president. Now, to varying degrees, you have Spanberger and Mikey Sherrill, who certainly were running very anti-Trump campaigns. Here in New York, you could argue that Mamdani, while running against Trump, was also certainly running against the Democratic establishment as well.
Sense.
But by putting affordability, the and seeing that healthcare, the affordability of healthcare are a central critical issue for voters, and that they're going to be willing to come to the table. And again, the president, first thing tomorrow morning, meeting with Senate Republicans at the White House. A lot of questions about whether this is going to be the thing that finally forces them to make a deal.
And Bill, want to bring you back in here with regard to Mamdani.
I like talking and listening to her.
We like talking to you.
Can I ask Mary a question? Do you mind?
Uh-oh.
Bill, let's go have lunch.
No, because he said it's the shutdown, and it's also because Trump is not on the ballot.
Yeah.
When is Trump going to be on the ballot again?
I believe, yeah, you got a while. And never, because he can't run again.
So what does that mean for the future of the Republican Party in this Trump worldview?
I'm glad you asked, because the other thing that you're hearing
Trump
from Republicans close to Trump, when Trump was silent, when his thumbs were getting ready earlier in the night, some of his aides were working overtime on Twitter and X. And they're saying the reason that Democrats were losing tonight is because, candidate quality, the candidates weren't strong enough, and also that if you don't have really MAGA candidates out there, that they won't drive, that without them you won't drive enough voters to the polls. The problem is, as we were discussing during the commercial break,
where you been at?
Everything changes when Trump isn't at the top of the ticket. And when he isn't truly on the ballot, you see a completely different landscape. And Trump is not on the ballot. His policies are, and that's going to be true next November, and it's going to be true during the next presidential race.
Did he say anything yet about Dick Cheney?
No.
Right.
Good question.
Former president not saying a word about a two-term vice president.
And many Republican leaders haven't as well, because they're looking to the White House for cues on that one, too.
25 years ago tonight, the election that actually made him vice president. But Bill, we just want to go back on Mamdani here for a second, because as we've been discussing and has been discussed for months now in this mayoral race, can he actually do these promises that he has said? But does that matter? Because people still overwhelmingly voted for him,
How you doing,
knowing
Jenny? How you
that,
been?
okay, Hochul's going to have to sign off on these taxes for billionaires. It's going to get us the free childcare and the free buses and the freeze on rent. But if he can't do it, is it just that he stands for change and stands for affordability?
And I think he's going to try to do things for people. If he can get some of this stuff that he said, I think he has a better shot at it. But he won't. Let's just say he won't be able to do that. He can't really get free buses because he doesn't control the bus money. He can't do a lot of things because he doesn't control it. He can't say the minimum wage because the state does that. He did it when he was in the assembly. So I think that's an issue. But I think he's a very smart guy. He has said "I'm sorry" to so many people in this city.
Minimum wage is $30 an hour,
including the police. He went
in
to
New
them,
York.
talked
Prices
to them,
prices
talked
gonna
quietly
be
to them, talked publicly
ridiculous.
to them. Again, when you were 24, did you say something kind of different? I know I did. So in that way, maybe you should have waited till he was 40. I don't know. He's a very smart guy. I think he will take criticism, and he will be able to take real things that say, hey, I can help you, kid.
I think one of the key moments in this race, maybe this is from a national perspective, but it said something about the kind of candidate he is, the kind of politician he is, was making the decision to go on Fox News. And it wasn't just to go on Fox News, it was a total, interview without time limits.
Looking into the camera, talking to people.
Giving a message to Donald Trump, doing it all. And he is now going to face not just all the problems in New York and not the practicality of what he can actually get done, but also being the primary focus of national Republicans. Just take a listen to Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, his statement on this race. And I'll just read it part. Democrats in New York City have chosen a true extremist and Marxist, and the consequences will be felt across our entire nation. Zohran Mamdani's election cements the Democratic Party's transformation to a radical, big government, socialist party. And he goes on to
and goes on to talk about defunding the police, seizing private property, and massive tax increases. What are you going to say?
Well, I think in addition to being the subject of so much ire from Republicans and having to sort of be the face of the Democratic Party in many ways, because that's what Republicans are going to force Mamdani to be, he is going to be the primary foil for President Trump. And so how do you go about doing all of these, you know, this lofty to-do list, which is a lot to get done, while also, you know, constantly being attacked and poked by President Trump, who at the same time is cutting, you know, billions of dollars in federal funding.
Huge challenge,
It's
right?
a lot.
It is, and it's up to New Yorkers to finally say, in a place that is setting the table for how we're supposed to deal with all these different ethnicities that are there, right? How many people are here from different countries, right?
I'm sorry to hear that.
And he's going to have to lean
I
on
keep
that.
you in.
They're gonna
I
have
keep
to say,
both of you in my
"We're
prayers.
We are not here to divide you." And I think that it's going to give a big test to New Yorkers. I really do.
Want to bring Donna Brazil into this conversation. And Donna, earlier tonight we were talking about how Hakeem Jeffries, when asked, is he the face, Mamdani, the face of the Democratic Party, he quickly said no. We have heard that from several, again, as we've mentioned earlier, that Chuck Schumer wouldn't even say who he voted for, let alone never gave his endorsement. So your thought, is Zohran Mamdani an outlier here, or is he the face potentially of, or one of the faces of the Democratic Party?
Well, New York is a large city with a great personality, so I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't become someone that we all get to know. But on the other hand, we tonight elected two great American women who leaned into their patriotism, of course, leaned into reaching out to independent swing voters, as well as bringing in a lot of low propensity voters who did not turn out in 2024. So you got a Democratic Party that's getting its mojo back. And before we started,
Trust me, Cakes Boo's not doing well as well. She's sick as well.
Say Democrats did well in New York, did well in New Jersey, well in Virginia, but also in Georgia, Pennsylvania. It looks like Democrats are trying to figure it out so that we can prepare ahead for the midterms in 364 days.
And really, it's quite interesting as we're seeing all of these images of him in the subway, certainly being crowded. As we were walking city streets with him, he was really received the reception of a rock star. And we see this real split screen where you had Eric Adams and Governor Cuomo sitting courtside at the Knicks games. Zohran Mamdani would attend and be in the nosebleed section. And so really something that ultimately did resonate with New York.
I have my
City
own health
voters.
issues as well, so like
What's still
stomach pain and
outstanding
stuff like
tonight,
that.
Donna, that you're still looking for race-wise?
Well, there's no question. We're all now waiting on California. There are a lot of other mayoral races across the country. Detroit, as I mentioned earlier tonight, now Diana Ross in Motown has a female governor. I'm very happy about Detroit. But I'm also looking overall at turnout because, as you well know, Democrats have had an enthusiasm problem. We've had a problem reaching, non-college educated voters. And it looks like we're picking up ground. We've got a lot of homework to do, but at least tonight feels like we got some things right from 2024, and we still got to find ways to improve. The other thing is we're having a generational fight within the Democratic Party. That's good news. We're now seeing younger voters being turned on to government and politics because they see people their own age willing to go out there and say government can work for the majority of the American people. Look, if I was President Trump tonight, I would read the polls and see what's happening across the country and say, you know what, it's time to get back to work and bring Washington, D.C. back, turn the lights back on at the Capitol, turn the lights back on across the country. I think the ball tomorrow will be in the deal-maker-in-chief hands. Hopefully he will learn from tonight's races.
Listen to you, Donna. This is Bill Ritter at the local news division here. I have a question for you. You have experience with all this. What can New Yorkers do?
I'm sorry that you're going through that.
To help this new 111th member of a guy who runs the biggest city in the country?
Well, let's start from the beginning. He has a clean slate. He's, after winning the primary, he started going to the middle. He's trying to build bridges. He's trying to open up new doors, and he knows he's going to have to govern with a coalition. Mm-hmm. So I think he's going to reach out, continue to reach out to the business community, continue to reach out to
Ever
perhaps
since my
those
cousin
that
died at
were
the
not
age of
so inclined to
32,
vote for a
the
newcomer. But
holidays
I
not
do
the
believe he
same.
has an opportunity
Thanksgiving,
to have a
Christmas,
real
and
good
New
start
Year's is
and
not
to
the
deliver
same.
on the promises he made to New Yorkers.
Can Mr. Cuomo play a part in this? Is that possible even?
He said he was going to go live in Florida if Mamdani won.
Well, look, I hope so, but more importantly, he needs the governor. He also needs the state legislature. I mean, he's made a lot of promises. And the last time I checked, you can't deliver on that without having the support of the governor and also the state assembly.
Okay, well, he got endorsement from her. He did not say during one of the debates, by the way,
I know
that he
you
was
would.
going to okay her when she runs next year. He didn't go and say
But you
that.
gotta be
And it's interesting,
prepared
she
just in
gave an
case.
endorsement to her, so that was kind of
I know
interesting.
you don't want to go there,
Well,
but you
what,
gotta
maybe
be
he's gonna listen
prepared.
to this, and we'll get him a copy of it, and maybe you'll give him some ideas there, Donna.
Donna Brazil, Bill Ritter, we thank you both
Thanks
so
for
much.
having me.
Really appreciate you joining us. Our election night coverage continues right after this. Stay with us.
Abby and Libby had gone on a walk, but we went to pick them up. They weren't there.
But how everything else is going though? Make sure you just take care of yourself as well. Because if you're not healthy, then you can't be there for if you're not around, then you know. I know he's still breathing, but you gotta be prepared just in case. And I'll be here for you if that does happen. Let's see her smoking weed. Here's cake spool for you. Here's some cake spool. Take care. I'll be there. Have fun. Yo, this weed is the best. It is called peanut butter cup. Peanut butter cup. So if anything happens, let me know and I'll pray for you still. I'm here for you no matter what. So, and you could join my Discord. Look, the link is right there. Click the Discord. We could talk. How many kids do you have, by the way? You don't see what Chris. Can you guys hear me? It's right there. The link is right there where it says Christina. And you see it? Give me 1 second. I'll be back. Oh yeah, I'm back. Finally. I'm back, guys. Sorry. Sometimes the technology starts acting up, so. But can you guys see me? Just chilling here. Who you guys? Where's mine? Just chilling here. I am gonna upgrade my phone soon, so I don't know when, but guys, join me for a smoke session, 420. I love getting high. I'm so high, so high. I like to get high, so high. Oh, that's some good ass weed. It's peanut butter cup. That's the name. Ivy's World. How you doing? How's everybody's week? How was everybody's week? Sorry, I wasn't live last week. I was sick. Don't forget to hit that like button. I'm good. Feeling better than last week. Last week I had COVID and the flu, so I'm feeling better. Guys, I'm keep telling you guys, like and subscribe. I only have 777 subscribers. I'm trying to get 800. Thank you, I appreciate it. Coming here helps. Going on YouTube helps. Because you just don't want to sleep. But it looks like I'm going to take a break, guys, and come back later. Thank you for joining me. Bye.